Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome back to another community of practice session. Most of you are veterans and know the drill. We like to give people a minute to settle in here. Kim's loving the jams. Thanks, Kim. We were talking about my Spotify DJ skills over here. If you're returning, please show people how it's done. We love cameras on. We love to see each other's bright, smiling faces. If you happen to be an expert with Zoom, then maybe you can relabel your name to include the organization you're with. Let's warm up our fingers. The question of the day, of the month, is what book, show, podcast, have you maybe enjoyed recently that you recommend to others? Type that in so we can load up on our media binging for the weekend. But good to see you again. Allison Pearson again, such an awesome return supporter. Jennifer, nice to see you from IAT. Really appreciate the partnership there. Amy again, seeing you online also, Amy. This is so cool. Damien is recommending The Real Deal on Love and Men podcast. There it is. You can plug your own books and podcasts. Katie and Care, thank you. Anna, Where Shall We Begin by Esther Perel. Manhunt. Okay, Dave, I just started Manhunt. I think I'm on episode 2 today. So that was hot off the press. Manhunt is really cool. Kate, enjoying the new season of Hacks on Max. I love it. These are really good ones. I'm gonna pause that song. We of course had this special BMW song in honor of our special guest. Let me show the agenda here today. This is our 1 hour format. And so after some opening comments, we're going to have this cool spotlight on leadership development at BMW. And that was the teaser song called BMW by Gummy Bear, not a band or an artist, DJ. I don't even know what they are, that I would normally have encountered. Tony loves the song though. Yeah, you heard it here first. We can all go on Spotify. BMW by Gummy Bear. But let's dive into it. For those of you, if it's your first time or I don't know you, I'm Kevin Kruse. I'm the founder of LEADx. Our mission is to spark the next 100 million leaders around the world. That's a big number. We can't do it ourselves. We do it with our friends, of course. We love leadership development that actually moves the needle on manager behaviors, employee engagement, and business results. We want to see sky-high participation rates in the in-person and virtual sessions. And of course, we're all about that pull-through. How do we make it sticky? How do we overcome the knowing-doing gap? But you're not going to get like advertisements here. This is a community of practice. It's invitation only. We purposely don't invite coaches, consultants, vendors, and we as LEADx stay out of the breakout rooms so you can have honest conversations about all these things. And normally we have my handsome co-host Dwayne Bess. He couldn't make it today, and so our special guest has agreed that I can banter with her a little bit. So let me introduce her. She's an ICF certified coach herself, also certified in things like situational leadership, everything DISC. She's a proud Clemson alum. So if you want to win her over, just type "Go Tigers" in the chat. You're going to have a friend for life. Today, she's the leadership and transformation specialist at BMW. Please welcome Nicki Creech. Nicki, longtime friend and fan. How are you?
Yes, I am great. Thank you. Thanks for the plug for Clemson. Much appreciated.
Your daughter probably just got back from her sophomore year last week. Is that right?
Yes, it is. And just trying to adjust to the fact that I have 2 people back in the house and my kitchen is not going to be clean until they move back out is a little hard to adjust to.
3 months of messy kitchen, right?
It's okay. Glad they're home.
Now, Nicki, we're going to dive more into BMW and what you're doing there in just a few minutes after we get through some of the administrative stuff. But tell everyone, people hear BMW manufacturing, they might think that you're sitting in Germany right now, and I have a feeling you're not.
Actually working from home today, which is nice. And before you even turned it on, I was talking about the fact that you can't build cars without people. Who actually have to be on site. And when COVID came and everything else, and everybody else got to go home and work from there. We did not, because we still had to build cars.
Yeah.
So our leaders actually aren't very good at virtual meetings and things like that because they never built the skills.
So remind us, where is the BMW plant that you support?
We are in upstate South Carolina. So it is actually the Greenville Spartanburg area, close to the Blue Ridge Mountains, about 2 hours north of Atlanta and an hour and a half south of Charlotte.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, hang with me here, Nicki, because I got to get through a couple opening things. And the first is a reminder. So for those of you who've been coming the last few months, you know that LEADx is now a certified partner with Blanchard, and we are offering SL2 experience workshops publicly, and all of you get it for half the price you would get it from Blanchard or anywhere else. But it starts next week. So we're just about done. This is your last chance. We know it's a short notice, but if you have ever thought about becoming certified in SL2 yourself so you can teach it, they do require that you go through a traditional program first, then do the certification. So when in doubt, this is the time to jump in, go through that program so that you can have the option to become certified later. And I think my producer partner, compadre Evan, just dropped that link if you'd like to get more information about SL2 experience next week. And then I've got a question for everyone. Who's going to ATD? I cannot believe it's May 19th. We will be there. We will, let's see, I've got an author talk. We've got a booth, which I know Evan will drop the booth number in. Nicki, are you going to ATD?
So jealous. I don't get to go this year. I'm so jealous. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. You're going to be there, but I am not. One of my counterparts will be there.
This is great. So definitely drop a note if you're going to be there. Nicki, here's the thing. I have a problem. I've got the theme, the banner for ATD. I'm always just being real. I think this is tone deaf. We've been seeing so many. We just got a call today. Another one of our big favorite clients. Yeah, the department was just eliminated, right? L&D, the budgets are being cut. Headcount is being cut. There's AI is transforming everything. And can you imagine going to your boss saying, hey, boss, despite all the budget cutbacks and everything else, I'd like to buy a plane ticket, some hotel rooms, and a conference ticket to go to this thing called ATD for my professional development. Oh, Kevin, that sounds great. What will you be doing? What's the focus? I'm going to recharge my soul with Matthew McConaughey. What? Come on. Of all the things that they could have done, transform 2024, leading in a world of AI, disrupt. Come on, like all these themes, and it's recharge your soul. I'm kind of old school though.
How about transformation, development transformation,
Development
something, because
transformation.
it's
I
all
know.
changing so fast.
Renee, I see you'll be there. Bob's given me a +1 on my rant about ATD. They're doing the best they can. What can we say? I look forward to going. And then this is
There is one thing though, Kev,
yes.
recharge, battery operation. So we talking a lot about battery operated cars. So I could use recharge and spin it.
There it is. There it is. And I'm with you. Like that's going back to Stephen Covey too, right? It's like we do need to sharpen the saw. I'm not saying we got to go all the time, but might not be the best time to emphasize that.
Yes, you're right.
Matthew McConaughey is the keynote. Like I love him. I mean, all right. Okay. Like I love the guy, but like, what are they giving away in those party bags they give you? You know, like I don't know what kind of partying is going to be going on there. Anyway, also want to remind everyone. So next month, pretty cool. Speaking of amazing keynote level people, we've got Dr. Amy Edmondson, who of course is like the originator of the concept of psychological safety. Her brand new book, Right Kind of Wrong. I already know the song I'll be playing next month for that. We're going to have her next month. It's June 14th, but that's one of our quarterly client only sessions. So come make sure this is on your calendar. You don't want to miss this one. On this this VIP day with Dr. Edmondson. Any client can come though. So again, we don't care if it's the $1,000 SL2 client, you have one manager who needs an executive coach client, or whether you're our 6-figure, cloud client. All clients are invited. June 14th. We're very excited to have her on the program. And then new segment, Nicki, I'm calling it Stupid AI Tricks. So I'm dating myself. Like David Letterman had stupid pet tricks with AI everywhere. I'm thinking like we need to showcase something AI. Now, I went and did something. Now we're going to release this thing next week on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn profile. I created a deep fake of myself. Nicki, are you scared?
Wow.
My
I'm a little
image,
scared.
my voice. So do you want to see it? Should I play it?
Yes, play it.
Okay. So this is all in the spirit of learning about AI, learning about digital avatars, right? So hopefully the audio will come through. Evan, let me know if we have a problem with that. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Kevin Kruse, founder of LEADx. Actually, I'm an AI-generated avatar of Kevin. He wrote the script but didn't speak or film any part of this video. You might be thinking, this doesn't look real, or I can tell this is fake. But asking about realism is the wrong question. The technology is advancing so quickly that it will look real very soon. The question you and your team should be asking is it good enough? This video cost about $4 and took 5 minutes to make. So ask, is it good enough for training and communication purposes if it saves thousands of dollars on video shoots or a couple of hours each week of filming and editing selfie videos? Is it good enough if it allows you to communicate immediately with employees in response to critical company or industry events? Is it good enough if it lets you instantly communicate in Chinese, Spanish, or dozens of other languages? Can you tell this is a deep fake? I sure hope so. But when might it be good enough? Let me know what you think. Jot a comment below. ¿Qué opinas? ¿Es esta tecnología lo suficientemente buena? Escribe tu comentario en el espacio a continuación. 您觉得如何？这项技术够好吗？请在下方写下您的评论。So I was working on my Spanish and Chinese there at the end, although since I don't speak Spanish or Chinese, maybe someone in the comments can say, was it gibberish or was I actually saying something?
That's impressive. That's incredibly impressive. I wouldn't have known, to be quite honest.
Wow, look at that. It means I need to work on my live delivery, Nicki, if you couldn't tell the difference between me and that.
Oh, the question is, do I just have a bad connection?
Okay. Ooh, so someone knows Spanish. Giselle says I can say that the Spanish was accurate. That's nice. Tony, yep. I'm much more animated. Yeah, they have a new version that does hand motions, but they're not there yet. So before I talk a little bit about how I did it, because I saw a couple things, I want to show one more. So Gallup, last month, they do their quarterly employee engagement survey, and they released an article about their latest findings. And so what I did was I took the article, dropped it into the AI, and said, what would Kevin Kruse write a 1-minute analysis of this article as Kevin Kruse? So the AI wrote the script. I did it through 2 different AIs and mashed them together, and then created the Hi, I'm Kevin Kruse. That's the wrong one. And then this one. So AI created it, like the analysis of it as me, and then did the video. All right, let's see what you guys think of this. All right, culture champions, I'm deepfake Kevin Kruse with a not so great news update. Gallup just reported that employee engagement in the United States is at a decade low, with only 30% highly engaged in the first quarter of 2024. There are now 1.8 engaged employees for every disengaged one, down from 2.1 to 1 in 2023. It's a wake-up call. And it's a shame because there is no reason all companies can't achieve highly engaged cultures if they just remember that 70% of engagement hinges on the manager. All you need to do is follow 3 simple steps. First, administer a manager effectiveness survey. Second, give managers their scores, showing results on things like future vision, psychological safety, feedback, and caring. Third, deliver personalized nudges and micro-coaching to help managers get better in their developmental areas. Then, just re-administer the manager effectiveness survey every 3 to 6 months to track progress. While the above program will cost about $120 per manager per year, isn't that a small price to pay for a highly engaged workforce? All right, what do you think, Nicki?
Now, I don't think you speak that fast in real life.
Okay, now that's perceptive because I actually like that one better than the first one, but I increased it to 1.1 speed.
Ah, okay.
Look at you picked up
Okay.
on that. I want a little higher energy, so I just kind of sped it up a little bit.
But it's interesting, it picks up all of your facial mannerisms.
It does a weird thing like random eye rolls at weird times and stuff. So it's a little funny. But heck, I figure if this is like it analyzed the article, made the script, made the video in about 15 minutes. I mean,
So
if,
what would
and
happen? What would happen if you said, do this in sarcasm font?
I don't know if it could do. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it would do with sarcasm. It can't. Someone's talking. I wish I could keep up with all the chats. I'm glad people are chatting it up. Um, so it doesn't. The tool we're using is called. The tool I'm using is called HeyGen. There's like 3 pretty well-known tools out there now. Synthesia is another tool. I forget the name of the third. We're using HeyGen, HEYGEN, and when you train it on your video, it takes sort of the style and intonation of that clip. So you can't yet say like, make me say it sad or make me say it excited. You could create, a quiet reading voice. You could create a super excited voice or something, but you have to do that in the training clip, which is why it's a little off. It's a little bit, one of the reasons why it's a little off.
It's interesting because we talk about authenticity a lot in
Yeah.
leadership. And sometimes you feel it from someone else, right?
Yeah.
But how can you feel the authenticity if it's fake Kevin, not real Kevin?
Yeah, I think, Nicki, I think this opens up, and I'm eager to hear what anybody thinks about this. This opens up so many things. So like this second video where I am giving my opinion about this, it is what I would say actually about Gallup. So I think as long as we disclose in the LinkedIn post, like this is an AI avatar of Kevin, it implies that it's an approved message, right? But people know it's not me. And will people think like, well, that's just weird and you're lazy for not doing a real video? Or will they just be like, yeah, we don't really care if that's an avatar or not. It's just another way of communicating in a way that isn't reading. Like, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of it myself just yet. Yeah, people are asking. Karen says, can it make you smile? Karen, I don't smile, so that is actually the more authentic me. I'm such a massive introvert nerd egghead. I'm always in my head, like, and then this is like a lot of coffee and trying to turn it on, so it's probably more authentic. And Kirsten, yes, if it's this good now, I mean, not even 5 years, right? 5 years, it's going to be indistinguishable. Even 1 year. I mean, a year ago, you couldn't do this. Now
Mhm.
we can do this for $5 per clip. I mean, it's a year from now, it's going to be crazy. Um, Susan, nice to see. I didn't see you here. Nice to see you. The lookup moment added spice. I know the eye roll gets me. It's like, does it think like that's the end of I'm thinking, or is it just a random eye roll? I don't know. I can't explain it, but it is kind of funny. And at the end, it makes you kind of bob around a little, unless you clip it off manually. So I'm going to be fascinated when you guys see these clips on LinkedIn. Do me a favor, give it a little like or a share, because I would like to hear what people are thinking about this as a training video. You're not going to be able to get your CEO to go in a studio and record 8 hours of leadership content or their stories related to situational leadership or whatever it is. But you could get them to record themselves for 1 minute, and then they could do these kinds of videos. Is it good enough? I don't know. If you disclose this is an approved message by your CEO, here's your CEO saying this stuff, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it will certainly make the real version of people even more valuable when they could just be sending their AI avatar and all that stuff. So
It's better. There's a better connection because of the realism than some of the sketch art type of training videos that
yeah,
people have been using because it's less expensive. And that realism just brings in that context, I guess you could say.
yeah, that's a good point. Like those sketch videos, I mean, they're a little less popular now, but for a while they're super popular, really easy to make, so affordable, fast, but have that cartoon look. That's not for everybody, illustrated look. And this just might be another style, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, but we're having fun with it. Thought you guys might like to see it first, so that's cool. Yeah, we used HeyGen, the AI tools to write the script for the second one. I used both ChatGPT and Gemini, and I'm increasingly finding that I like Gemini better than GBT, paid GBT. All right, culture champions, it wants to keep playing. Nicki, it's time for me to talk less. It doesn't mean I'm going to be quiet, but I'm going to talk less. You all know me. So a while ago, Nicki, when we first met, I had a chance to interview you, and it became a Forbes article, How BMW Manufacturing Develops Great Leaders Through Feedback, Learn, Practice Approach. Let's start at the beginning. So you're talking about, you started off telling us you're in a factory environment. You guys are building cars, right? So tell us about the kind of leaders and supervisors that you're supporting, and how many of them are there?
So our plant has about 12,000 employees. If you look at all first line supervisors and managers, we have over 600 leaders at our plant. And until I started working there, I never realized the challenges of behavior change in a deskless environment. That's noisy and loud, and what type of reinforcement can you get when you're trying to change behavior and the focus is on what people can see and touch only? How many cars did I build today? How many quality errors were there? What safety incidents happened? And they're all things you can count, but it's hard sometimes to count how many of your team trust you if that's not a KPI that's identified.
Right. Yeah. And of course, we like the measurement and the metrics as much as possible, but it's a different kind of environment for sure. Your program, you call it iLead, right?
Yes.
And so the other thing about that's unique with your audience and with iLead is it's the span of control. Like, I'm used to thinking, most people managers, maybe they have 5 people reporting to them, maybe 10. Talk a little bit about how many people your managers are leading.
Our first line supervisors probably have between 30 to 60 people that they are responsible for. At that, they split shifts because we have a night shift and we have a day shift. So a manager may have upwards of between 6 to 10 first line supervisors that directly report to him on both shifts, and then everybody else underneath them.
Wow.
So that is specifically within the production areas.
Makes weekly one-on-one meetings a little more challenging.
Yes. It's funny when you talk to those that are really successful in the first line leadership role, how many of them say that just by walking down the line regularly, hey, how you doing? Just getting to know who their people are, knowing their names, knowing something about them makes the biggest difference, because their people want to work for them because they feel heard and seen. Whereas others would see that number and just think, oh, I'm not even going to attempt it because it's too many people. It's too hard.
Yeah, I love that. It's the old, at this point, old advice from Tom Peters, MBWA, management by walking around. A lot can happen just by making the one-on-one connections. It doesn't always have to be a sit-down meeting. So, Nicki, tell us about the iLead program. How long is it? What's the cadence? What are some of the topics?
So when I first joined BMW about 6 years ago, I noticed that there were a whole lot of leaders that were in a role because technically they were really strong. And our plant grew in fast. So we almost doubled in size over a period of about 8 years. We're responsible for all the X models, the SUV models. And so when you do that, you water down your culture. And as a result, people would get into their new leadership role and then not really held accountable for doing something different, not just what got them there. So it really felt like there wasn't an overall culture of what was expected of leaders from the area. So went about actually doing some investigation and spending time around figuring out what do the people say they need, shadowing the leaders out on the floor, finding out what challenges they have. And as a result, put together a program which is fairly foundational in its content.
Yeah.
But the way it was designed was to take a look at bringing cross-functional cohorts together. So somebody from assembly and somebody from the body shop and somebody from logistics, somebody from HR, somebody from finance would be in these cohorts together over a 6-month program. And to be quite honest, Kevin, there are 3 modules, each are 2 days. And for me today, I think 2 days is too long. I think that you have to do more shorter time periods of actually sitting in class to be more active in what you're doing. But at the time we designed this, it was those 3 modules and a capstone to take place over about a 6-month time period where you have group coaching in between. And the cohort idea kind of came from we're going to go through this growth together and create a stronger connection because I'm going to see things from someone else's perspective. And because everybody in the plant went through it at the same time, it really created a shared language, a movement in a way, a greater understanding and a recalibration of expectations when you start talking about leadership.
Love it. And just a reminder to everybody who's here, we of course love questions, so feel free to type them in the chat or raise your digital hand, and Evan will spot it and tell me to stop talking, and he'll call on you. So Nicki, you're saying it's 2 days per topic, and I think you had shared the topics were, well, you tell me again, the first, second, and third. I remember the second one was collaboration with some emotional intelligence work in there, coaching, the grow model. What was that first one?
First one was thinking like a leader.
Thinking like a
And
leader.
that was more around awareness. I actually took some of the concepts or experiences that I went through when I was doing my coaching certification and brought that into that first module because it was time for people to kind of ask themselves the question of, where am I spending my time? Am I spending my time, actually being a leader, or am I spending my time at administrative work, or am I spending my time doing the work for my people? But why am I even in this role? What's my purpose in this role?
Now, Nicki, but let me interrupt because I'm gonna share my bias with everybody. I share my flaws. So, and I'm a delighted a customer, right? M3, X3, fine German automobile, and yet I think about the environment, the building cars, and taking frontline leaders, and you're saying think like a leader. In my mind, it'd be like, what are you talking all this abstract, philosophical, warm, fuzzy, soft stuff? They need to know how to delegate. They need to know how to give feedback. They need to how to course correct. I want that bolt tightened harder. Like, I don't know, but you went to the soft stuff.
So here's what's so funny. I can't tell you. I would have to actually say 80% of the people in the first 10 cohorts of this wanted to leave after the first day on module 1. They're like, oh, what is this? Why do you have me talking about my personal milestones and my core values and share? And people are like crying, right? There was a real emotional connection, and
that's always Nicki, that's always a sign of a good program when people are crying. I'm not even joking. Like, forget about the smile sheets. I want Kirkpatrick level 6. How much did they cry?
That's how I was measuring, but it was a movement in a way because people are like, whoa, wait a second. I shared the story the other day that when I was going through my coach training, I had to have my own coach, right, for my certification.
Right.
And the best advice I ever received was when I was talking to my coach about my tennis team, and these women were too emotional, and why should there be emotions in tennis? We're not in high school anymore, right? And she said to me, well, you might as well not even be a coach. She said, hang it up right now. You will not be a good coach if that's the way you feel. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, what are you talking about? And she said, if you can't understand the power of emotion and the differences that emotion can make in how people connect with each other and where that falls in leadership, then you will never be a good coach.
Wow.
And I appreciated that. I appreciated the directness, and I had my own journey at that point in time.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to take this manufacturing environment and bring in emotion, but find a way to do it so that they could have their own aha moment of, wait a second, this is important, even though I'm uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. Before we go to questions, I want to, you talked about the structure and the cadence, but there was some kind of like capstone or concluding activity. Can you share that?
So obviously you have to tie it back to the business. Yeah, there's a value here. The finance degree that I got at Clemson, ROI sticks out to me just in terms of what is the impact going to be on the business.
Hmm.
And at that point in time, I didn't have a direct measurement. So I wanted each individual to present this capstone. In fact, you had to be at this capstone and give this presentation in order to get credit for the program. And it was connecting not just how you changed your leadership style as a result of this program, but what was the impact on the business?
Yeah.
And to gather that kind of feedback, but to give them an opportunity to celebrate the journey that they were just on.
Yeah. And Nikki, as you describe, like I would have done the same thing. Like, how do you tie back the business? How, like, and it becomes a powerful testimonial and people hear about it and it helps you get support from executives. And that whole journey from how to think like a leader to how to coach, you're making them a better spouse at home, a better neighbor, a better friend. That's what just gets me going. Let me let me try to see a couple of these questions. How did you prepare cohort participants for peer coaching or to coach themselves, Sheila? And if I butchered that, Sheila, come on and elaborate.
So actually, we part of the program was group coaching sessions in between each module. So what they would be tasked with at the end of the module, they would have action items. Choose one action item, just one. Let's be realistic, to work on for the transfer of knowledge area. And in the coaching session, they were to bring that action item in, and the coach wasn't coaching as much as facilitating them to help each other and to share their own best practices and to encourage to work together in between the different sessions. And because it was almost like a movement amongst all the leaders, and they were all going through it around the same time. It became just a part of the atmosphere in a way that they would share and help each other. Now, I'm not going to I'll be realistic. Not everyone's a great coach. There's still a lot of work to do.
Let me ask, Nick, because you just hit on a piece of this. Jen from BP said, if everyone went through it together at the same time, what's your plan for continuity? Do you continue to offer this to new joiners? What's next?
Maintenance. So all new leaders will have this. And the thing is that at this point in time, I don't want to throw out another program per se, because now it's about identifying with you as a leader. Let's talk about where your individual skill gaps are. Where do you want to grow? And what I'm trying to get put on board is that there would actually be a leadership qualification that requires continuing education credits. And so every 3 years you have to earn so many continuing education credits to keep your leadership qualification. And then it would be my job to make sure there would be enough resources and variety of resources available for them to choose what it is that they would want to participate in to be able to earn those credits.
Yeah, that's interesting. Just like doctors, accountants, other professionals have to continue to learn and grow to maintain their certification. And we're big believers, of course, in like the digital badges. It's like, oh, you accomplished this thing, but I don't often hear this idea of you need to if you want to keep your certification as a gold star BMW leader, with your badge, well, then you got to keep learning and growing along the way. I like that. I like that approach.
Think about it. We have safety certifications, right? So people don't get
Yeah,
hurt in the accident. Well, how many people out here have had a leader in their past that there is probably a trigger
that hurt them.
because the person was terrible
Right.
and they made a lasting impact that harmed someone.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing.
Yeah, and Nikki, this comes up. It seems like every time we do a benchmark study, this comes up because we always ask, like, is leadership development mandatory or not in your organization? And I forget the exact number, Evan, but it's like half it's not mandatory. A little more than half it's not mandatory. And I know you can't like force people, like they'll fake the training, they'll show up and not pay attention, but like people's lives, you're trusting people, with other humans' lives and careers. It's like, how do you not sort of require a certain fundamental amount of training and then to at least have a common language and practice for an organization? So clearly I'm on one side of that issue.
Didn't make this program mandatory. I launched it almost like with a marketing campaign in the sense
Mm,
that I found the influencers for the different supervisory team, the management team, and invited them, nominated them
yep.
to be in my first cohorts. And they were the ones that spread the message. And then all of a sudden I find myself with more demand than I actually had supply.
Nice problem to have.
Yeah, but I can't stand mandatory training
Yeah.
because you tell me I have to do it, then I immediately don't want to.
And we didn't have time to embed it into the presentation, but we did see, so everyone, Nicki produced this great sizzle reel, what we would call a sizzle reel, a video clip. It's like like a teaser that you'd see for a Hollywood movie. And you even had some of your champions in the video talking about how great the training was. So it wasn't just you saying, oh, the training's great. Hey, I happen to be the one delivering it. You actually had participants speaking in the video, which was really neat.
Which was tough for me because I had to speak much slower in the video. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, that's not really me.
You need that AI version of you, Nikki, and it would be
Exactly.
just fine. A couple eye rolls here and there, but other than that, it'd be the right pace for you. Let's see. One of the questions was the content developed in-house or with external vendors?
So I designed, knew what I wanted, but I had a one woman show at that point in time.
Hmm.
So I had a vendor co-develop with me. So I really was very hands-on. In fact, they probably were frustrated with me because a couple times they would give me what they thought, and I'm like, no, 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 this, and change all this. So it was a labor of love. I like to think that I gave them the bones, they put the meat on the bones, but it was definitely a joint venture.
And Renee is asking for clarification. You're talking about new leaders getting the training. It was new leaders or new to BMW?
So currently, maintenance is all new to a leadership role.
New to leadership role. Yeah.
But when I initially launched the program, it was all leaders.
Yeah, yeah. And then Nick is asking a good provocative questions. He's saying with this idea about continuing education, he's like, well, what happens if the leader doesn't stay up to date on their continuing education? Do you demote them? Does the HR become like L&D police? Which I'm fine with that. But what do you think?
I what I'm trying to do is get it tied to performance. And it's same way that we all have to take compliance training and everything else. They have 3 years to plan this out. So, we have our performance reviews are dependent upon two axes. One is leadership. The other one are our targets or key performance indicators. So objective and subjective data. Well, here we have objective data of subjective behavior.
I love it. Some people are asking if they can see the sizzle reel. So what we're going to do is, remember, all of you have access to the Community of Practice Vault, where samples of things that people are contributing, you can see it. So we'll make sure when we do the follow-up notes next week that we put a link to the sizzle reel so people will be able to see it there. That's great. Ross is asking, how did you identify your influencers? How did you know who was going to be a champion of the program?
Really, I think getting into walking in the production areas, I had a wonderful sponsor in my VP at the time, but some of the connections that I made when I started working there, what I did is I sat back and observed.
Mhm.
How did people respond to them in meetings? I was in a lot of different project meetings and things like that. And if I asked people who do you respect or who do you listen to when they speak? So it was really some curiosity and observation to find, and then obviously checking in with other people. Is this somebody that you follow? What do you think of them as a leader? That type of thing.
Love it. One more question, and then we're going to go to a quick networking break because we do want all of you to do a quick hello to the friends you've met before and to make new friends. So, Evan, in about a minute, we're going to want to do that little breakout. Let's see. Marie from Memorial Sloan Kettering is asking, do you have a leadership competency model or that aligned to this content, or was the content what you
Absolutely.
knew they needed?
Absolutely. So that was the most important thing for me on a strategic level whatsoever is too many times you put these competencies or this model out there and then never make that red thread connection.
Mm.
So within the content itself, it would link whatever that lesson is to the leadership competency from the leadership competency model.
Fantastic. Um, Nicki, I hope you participate in the breakouts and then don't disappear because people will probably still have more questions coming out of that. What we want to do is, as I said, give everyone a chance to meet each other in small breakouts. You know, these questions, they're really just designed to get you talking, and you can talk about anything you want. One thing to discuss: what are your thoughts about the BMW case study? What are your main takeaways from what Nicki shared, and or what the heck did you think about that weird eye rolling Kevin AI deepfake? Good for training or not? So a couple things you guys can play with, and we'll send you out for about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and then we'll call you back, do a quick debrief, and wish everyone a good weekend. You'd leave. Hey, with 2 minutes left, I want where'd Nicki go? There you are at the bottom of my screen. Nicki, big thanks for coming on and sharing and playing co-host. Was it fun?
Had a great time. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come on and share.
No, this is
I had a lot
awesome
of
that
fun
you shared.
energizing.
Yeah, you shared your wisdom. You're sharing some of your materials. It's a great gift. I know I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, and it takes a village to do great leadership development. You're contributing to that, so thank you very much. Want to remind everyone, next month is the big quarterly call, and then we go back to our regular program. And I want to just wrap up by saying, I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and all of you mothers out there, hope you have breakfast in bed, someone taking care of you. Don't do any work. Say I gave you permission to not do any work this weekend. And vielen Dank, Tony, you're hitting us with your German. Ich kann nur ein sehr bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Appreciate that. Everyone, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next month. Bye bye now.